I think I've had a really fortunate journey through sport. It started at a very young age. I'm from Tasmania, Australia, and I began my sporting career in swimming as a sprint freestyler, but quirkily ended up being a distance athlete in the sports of running and orienteering. I guess the highlight on paper was winning the world titles in 2006 in orienteering, a feat which has never been replicated since by a non-European athlete. And I also won the junior titles in the same year, which is also something kind of that I became known for. But I think like the challenge of being an elite athlete is what happens when the career comes to an end. And that took me a long time to understand and realize that I could maintain that athletic identity as I progressed through into like a career beyond sport. So now I think it's been a really amazing journey to have how I amalgamate the skills that I learned as an athlete into being, in business, careers, but also a mother, a wife, and all the other attributes of being an adult. So my sport journey was really powerful, challenging. I faced challenges like safeguarding breaches, career-threatening injuries, but really ultimately it's made me who I am today, and I'm very, very honoured for it. It's phenomenal to be the Athlete Scholarship holder. As I said, I come from Tasmania, which is the very far reaches of the world. I've literally had to fly oceans and mountains to be here with a young family, so the scholarship made it possible. But I think more than the financial gains of it, it was about being an individual athlete that was always really, I really valued humility, I still do, and was extremely internally driven. So to be recognised in such a professional landscape for what I achieved in athleticism, but also the potential that you see in me in going forward in my career was a really powerful acknowledgement and a really amazing place to start the course from. I think the skills and the experiences you bring forward as an athlete into your future career, whether it's your job career or all the other elements that make up you as a person in the big sphere of life, really sets the scene. I've always lived by the motto that how you do one thing is how you do everything, and I notice that I bring that forward in absolutely everything that I do, that sort of drive, that internal determination, that meticulous organisation, the empathy that you have towards self and others, your ability to take on feedback. These are all sort of soft skills, but they come out of the approach that you had as an athlete, and I think it is what helped me go to the top of my sports, multiple. I think, though, there were other things, the experiences in the athletic world that have also really shaped who I am and why I'm here now, and the sense of purpose I bring to the course and my career going forward. I mentioned the safeguarding breaches, I had a number of personal family dramas that occurred, and I think that it's made me really approach wanting to help people in the elite sports industry through a lens of how we support the welfare, the well-being of people as the underpinning of human performance. So I think, it's a combination of the experiences, the hard skills, the soft skills, and it's drawn me here, and I think will give me really great footings as I sort of think about that next step in my career and hopefully into the international scene. I say this with humility, with no ego attached, but I think the sports industry really needs us. The sports industry has many stakeholders and all play a part and all of equal importance, but it wouldn't be a sports industry without the athletes. And I think you can't put athletes in one bucket and line us up next to one another and see that our pathways are similar and bring a same benefit to an organisation's knowledge, even if we've achieved similar things in sport, because they're all done in the setting of a more holistic life and with different experiences and different skills and different mindsets. And I really honestly feel that even though I'm not an Olympic athlete, I could bring really strong value into the Olympic movement because I might have been the athlete that could have been the Olympian, and what were the challenges and what were the experiences that we need to look at more strategically to support athletes as they move through and reach the top of sport. So it's sort of almost a passion project of mine to help get athletes' voices at the table. This has been a 10-year journey to be here today. The idea of joining the program started actually quite a long time ago after I was employed at the Australian Institute of Sport. But for many reasons, life didn't feel right. The tingle was there. So being here now was about realising the impossibility of opening the doors into this movement, into this international setting with the purpose that I carry about trying to support well-being at the heart of human performance. It was next to impossible from Tasmania. So being here now, surrounded by the international movement, your phenomenal lecturers that you've obviously spent years bringing together and crafting your stories and your learnings, and to be in a room with people from every continent, bar Antarctica, and to learn from them as well, it really is just such a gift. So it's a huge thing for me to be here today, and it's not lost on me the opportunity AISTS bring to people in the world of sport. I feel completely committed to their experience so far in my studies. I think what really makes it unique is how we're so quickly touching on so many different elements of sport, whether it's legal, management, medicine, technology. We're being constantly thrown into environments like archery, which I've never had any experience with, and learning how to kind of evolve as a person as well through the career work that we do with Celine. So I think that for me, it's been such a great glue that joins so many things that I've already done through my career in medicine and teaching and education and governance, and like I felt like I've kind of got the grounds, but I hadn't realised the significance of how they could help me going forward. So that holistic lens that you're bringing is really rewarding and extremely exciting, you know, when you start to get that exposure in the international setting. Until recently, as in recently in the last few years, I would have said to you, I have no idea what I want to be when I grow up. I knew I loved the human body, the human science, medical science. I knew I loved teaching and coaching and mentoring. I knew I loved the psychology of the brain. I loved seeing organisations reach high performance, but it felt really intangible and unconnected. And then I did a lot of work on self and really came to appreciate what I learned through sport, the great things, the hard things, the skills I learned, the soft skills I learned. And then I just had this aha moment, like with utmost clarity, like I know what I want to do, and that is that I want to help people and other athletes with their career through sport, through developing themselves and their well-being, physical, mental, safeguarding integrity at the heart of human performance and how we elevate that. And at the same time, I also want to be able to support them and organisations with the transitions that athletes must make as they leave sport, knowing that we would never want to lose our athletic identity. So that idea of what are you going to do when you're no longer an athlete? It's like you can't take that out of us. But what do you do with that athlete? And how can you help that athlete to flourish even beyond the elite sports world? That's what I want to do. I think the big question is, you know, is it the right time to apply? Is that the course for me? And as I mentioned, this was a 10-year process to be here, but what kept that alive was this constant gnawing niggle in my head of like, think about this. This is still an opportunity. And I also, for me, I get that sort of body tingling sensation when I really think about something and it feels right. And so, but I don't think there's ever a right time. I remember that same feeling when, you know, we were thinking about, we're going to be parents, we're going to try for children, and it was like, oh God, you know, is there ever a right time? But that feeling, that gnawing kind of existed, and I feel like that's something you can't ignore. So my advice is that if even the inkling is there, the interest is sparked, it's something that you need to kind of pursue until it no longer feels right. And it's amazing that once you even make that leap, like how all the doors begin to kind of feel like they're opening up again. So that would be my one bit of advice. I think if I could just add to that though, the process of applying in itself was so insightful. And on 2 occasions I'd already gone through that process before I realised the timing wasn't right. But I learned so much about myself and where I wanted to go through the process. So I would say to people, like, even if the inkling is remotely there, just start beginning the process talking to the team here, and I think very clearly you begin to kind of see the way forward and what's right for you.